and they lived happily ever after. Any questions, kids? Oh, well, I'm so glad you asked. Come with me. Resident Evil. Resident Evil 2 is the first Resident Evil game I ever played. At the time, I hadn't even heard of it, and I thought the remake was the original. I genuinely had no idea what the game was about, and I thought it was about living in a residence of evil or something. It's interesting. I actually didn't like playing horror games. I only liked watching them, but because it was in third person, I figured it wouldn't be able to be that scary, and boy, was I right. The scariest thing in the game is Mr. X, who by the way looks like Thanos, and I will be referring to him as Thanos. Don't get me wrong, this is a wonderful game, and it's probably top 5 best games in my opinion, but that doesn't change the fact that it isn't very scary. So it is important to note the version that I'm telling you is not canon. Well, okay, it is canon, but it's not canon. Originally, it was not the canon route to play before the remake, but both the Resident Evil 4 game and another game that I don't quite remember both add to the fact that this is now a canon version, whereas the original is no longer canon. If you do want to learn about the previous canon route, I would recommend playing the game instead of watching this video. If you aren't familiar with my process, I write down all of the information I remember throughout the course of a few days with as much detail as I possibly can. Then, I turn on a playthrough of the game while I do something else. That way I don't pay too much attention to it. After the playthrough, I don't add or change information. I just rearrange it to the correct timeline. This way, I can ensure that this is from my memory without it being too inaccurate. The story begins with a trucker driving and eating a burger listening to the radio, and that burger looks disgusting. Like straight out of that one SpongeBob episode. And as he takes a huge bite into that burger, he runs over a woman in the street. And as he gets out to check on her, she attacks him, and the camera cuts to a man at the gas station. The man is very pretty, and his name is Leon Kennedy. Leon Kennedy. The pretty man goes into the gas station to hide from zombies, and very quickly regrets it and leaves. As he leaves, he almost gets shot by a girl, and they escape together. On their way to Raccoon City, Leon explains that he's a cop. Ew. But he's never worked as a cop, as today is supposed to be his first day, so is he really even a cop? The car gets stuck in an accident, and Claire, the girl, and Leon get out of the car. As they do, a semi rams into it. It's the man from earlier with a bite in his neck. He crashes and explodes. Leon and Claire are separated, and Leon makes his way to the police station. At the police station, Leon discovers the station has been abandoned, except for a cop named Martin. This is the most beautiful police station to ever exist, by the way. It has a fountain, an indoor balcony, another balcony indoors, but higher, and it has wings, complete hallways of just strong stretches. Anyway, it's overall beautifully designed, and Zillow would put it up for at least $15 million. The building is completely blocked off, except for a slightly closed hall with the lights off. Leon ignores the creepy hallway of doom and goes to the security desk. There, he sees someone on the cameras begging for help, saying where he is and how to get to him, which is through the creepy hallway, and Leon goes through it. I know I shouldn't be surprised Leon would enter the scary, dangerous hallway of evil and danger, but I'm surprised Leon entered a scary, dangerous hallway during a zombie apocalypse. When he enters, he finds that the entire hallway is flooded because a toilet is overflowing. And then he finds the entrance, where the cop is. He opens the closing door and kills the man by slicing him in half. He didn't mean to do it, but the man was being pulled by zombies, and the door fell halfway through his body. Luckily, Leon got the notebook, which had the keys to statues. Leon goes to Martin with his notebook, and during his path through the hallway of evil, dark, horrible evilness, and it caused him to be chased by zombies. You know what I meant. Leon manages through and gets to Martin. Martin explains the notes are for the statues in the police station. They each have medallions in them and that can only be unlocked when entering a code. These medallions then go into a statue in the entryway and can lead to an underground tunnel system. Leon then has to go through the police station, solving puzzles for the main statue. he discovers a new enemy, lickers. Lickers are these weird things that crawl on all fours with their brains completely visible. I think they were once human, but they definitely aren't anymore. During this time, Leon is learning his way through the station, and trust me, it gets hard to memorize at first. The place is large and there's enough going on visually that keeps it hard to focus. He gets all 3 medallions and gets to Martin to tell him the good news, but unfortunately, Martin has sustained too many wounds and is turned into a zombie. You kill him and move on to the next stage. In the under area, as you go deeper, you start to hear thumping on the pipes, and you go throughout this tunnel that leads to an opening. And in the opening is a man with a giant fucking arm, and he's strong and he's scary. The guy can be taken down with just 2 knives though. Like, I learned to slash at him over and over again until he falls off the side of the tunnel, and I need to explain this tunnel. I don't know how deep it goes, but it's at least like 100 meters deep. It just keeps going. And it's below Raccoon City. I'm shocked nothing has collapsed because it's a huge area. Like,
editing side here to say that there is collapse.
I didn't know my voice changer was on, but my point still stands. There is collapse, and it's all because of Raccoon City's lab, and it's all throughout the game. They talk about it in like a bunch of notes. That's all. I don't even know how to explain it. It's gigantic. Editing side, if you have any pictures or anything, please put them up on the screen. Show what's going on, because this is insane. Now that we finished the first segment of the game, we're going to swap over to Claire's POV. While Leon is looking through the police station, Claire gets there too. When she does, a helicopter crashes into one of the wings of the building. Leon meets with Claire, but is locked out of the station due to a chain link fence being in the way. She updates Leon, saying she has yet to find her brother Chris. Side note, does anyone remember when Chris was theorized to be a werewolf? That shit was crazy. Anyway, Claire and Leon have so much chemistry, and I'm so upset they chose Ada to be his love interest instead, because their chemistry is insane. Look at it. The helicopter explodes and Leon and Claire are surrounded by zombies. Claire needs to run to save herself, and Leon needs to go back to the police station. After a bit of work on her past, she finds her way into the police station, and Leon is no longer there. Kinda sucks that they missed each other. If I were Leon, I would hide out in the police station, honestly, because a scary tunnel underground does not sound as inviting and beautiful as the building. She's there, and she checks the security cameras and sees a man in a trench coat and fedora. And it's Thanos. He breaks the camera, and Claire starts exploring the police station and makes her way through the tunnel system that Leon went through. In the tunnels, she discovers a girl hiding, and the girl asks for help to find her mom, saying she's pretty sure she's down here somewhere. Claire agrees, and the girl is named Sherry Birkin. Her mom, Dr. Birkin, is a tech at Umbrella. Yuck, Umbrella sucks. They go through a manhole in the bottom of the police station and try to make their way onto the city street. And as they find a gate they're stuck behind, one of Sherry's mom's coworkers comes out and greets them. Now, I just want to flex that I immediately knew he was sus because he has the friendly but actually violent, like, vibe going on, like the body type and everything. And he pulls out a gun and threatens Claire, and he makes Sherry tie her up, and he kidnaps Sherry. The gate closes before Claire is able to get out of the zip ties, and she goes back to the police station to find a key card to get through the gate. Through the police station, she maneuvers and escapes Thanos. His entrance is so badass. He, like, throws a helicopter out of his way by pushing it out like that, and then he just, like, walks to chase you down. Like, he's just sauntering in, like, bam, 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 bam. It's so badass. Anyway, in the police station, Claire receives a call on a rotary phone, and the coworker calls. And that guy is just like, all right, Sherry's safe for now, but if you don't give me that pendant, she's not gonna be safe anymore. And we get to my favorite part of the game, which this part is like actually scary because it's real. It's a very real thing going on. You're playing as Sherry, and you're trying your hardest to escape this scary man in a whole-ass daycare/orphanage thing. The notes in the daycare are journal entries, and the kids have to write daily journal entries and document how they're feeling, and they get health exams and tested regularly. They get regular shots, and the shots make them feel gross. One of the kids' journal entries says that Umbrella owns the building, and it's heavily implied the kids are being experimented on, and when they get adopted, they actually go to the science place, and they're experimented on further. Anyway, Sherry manages to get the keys to the door, and when she does that, the coworker manages to grab her, and she grabs just a random bottle and throws it at his face, and it happens to be acid. And so that makes it so she can actually successfully get the keys and solidifies her freedom. Just kidding. the door is chained shut. So she keeps running further and further, and as she gets grabbed by the man, that man with the giant arm comes out of nowhere and kills him, the man mentioned earlier. And Claire breaks in and finds Sherry. The man with the giant arm, he's missing, and Claire comes in. She's like, oh my god, Sherry, are you okay? And then the coworker comes back in, and he's like, grr, I'm gonna grab you. And then suddenly the guy with the giant arm comes up and just slices him, like, right in, you know? Like, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, Sherry then yells, Daddy? So that guy with the giant arm, that's William Birkin. That's Sherry's dad. He's also a scientist. He's experimented on himself or something. This whole situation causes Claire to pass out, and when she does, we swap back over to Leon's perspective. Editing Psy popping in again just to say, oh god, just to say that it didn't cause her to pass out, but she got her shit beat. So that's why she passed out. She's not a weak loser like I am. I would pass out under stress. She wouldn't. She's too cool for that. Leon escapes through the keycard slot garage door thingamabob place. Yeah, I meant what you knew. When he does that, though, the police dogs are loose, and they're infected with some form of a disease. They go in to attack Leon as he's about to be murdered. A woman shoots the dog off him. That woman's name is Ada Wong, and let's just say... So Leon tries to find his own keycard, and while he's, like, going through the police station trying to find something, he finds a journalist who gets his face bashed in by a huge hand. Like, just this hand pops out of the wall and just grabs him, and it's, like, double the size of this guy's head. And they grab his head and just start bashing it in. To the wall behind him. And Leon is like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And the reason he does that, mogs super hard, just casually, super quickly, is because Ada came back in. She saunters in and she's like, Anyway, Leon has to find a keycard in the police police station, so he goes to do so, and when he does, Thanos starts chasing him the same way he was chasing Claire around the building. So he's so chill with it, he's just like casually mogging us, and just bam, 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 as he walks, because, you know, he's so chill like that. Leon then learns about the orphanage and what's going on there. He also learns about a giant sinkhole that's happening because the lab has such a big fucking hole. Because the lab is this giant hole underground, and it makes no sense as to why it didn't collapse sooner. Because seriously, what is this building? Anyway, he makes his way out with Ada, and they walk through a nice section of the town. Nice for a zombie apocalypse, that is. And they run into a pawn shop. In the pawn shop, there's a girl. And she's clearly about to turn, and Ada is going to shoot her. But a man comes out and tells her no. He'll kill her, explaining that it's his daughter, and Ada puts the gun down. As Leon and Ada walk away from the scene, we hear 2 final gunshots. And I know that it's not like The Last of Us, but that scene makes me want to play The Last of Us really bad. It reminds me of Joel and Sarah, and I could always play it on stream on twitch.tv/Cyradical, or maybe I could make a video about it. I don't know, though. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? So they go into the sewers to avoid the sinkhole, and when they do, they fall deeper into a part of it. Leon gets separated from Ada and has to outrun a giant mutant crocodile. So it kind of reminds me of Crash Bandicoot. Like, you're going straight down, and you gotta jump there, or there, or there, and you're just doing that. But it's a giant mutant crocodile, so it's not like Crash Bandicoot. Next up, Leon and Ada descend into the sewers so that they can reach the lab. You see, Ada is trying to collect the virus to create zombie apocalypse, but is unable to do so without your help. So she's telling you things that you need to hear. Umbrella Corp is bad, she needs to destroy the virus, when in reality, Umbrella Corp is bad, but she's trying to steal the virus. In the sewers, we find Annette Birkin, a scientist who says she plans to dispose of the virus. Ada says she needs it, and Leon is still on her side. She's really pretty, so I understand why Leon would be on her side, because she's really pretty. But Leon gets shot and passes out. Meanwhile, Ada takes off her trench coat to make sure Leon doesn't go into shock and wraps it around him. And when she does this, it is revealed that she is in the most stunning red dress that suits her body so well. In my notes, I wrote, and I quote, "Her body is tea." Ada goes to follow Dr. Birkin and ends up in an incinerator. She has to use her rewiring gun to rewire all of the heaters and use that power to open the door and escape before she burns alive. And when she does this, she gets knocked out with a machine, and it throws her into like a bunch of trash. and so Leon comes to save her. Claire wakes up to Dr. Birkin. They're following William Birkin together, and Sherry gets lectured by her mom. Eventually, Sherry passes out. Claire goes to Sherry as quickly as she can after watching her pass out, though she has to go through a series of events to get to her, and has to fight with William Birkin as well. After he falls deeper into the cavern, again, it's revealed that Sherry has been implanted. She's infected with some form of virus and is no longer safe to be around. Or that's what Dr. Birkin is saying. We don't know if that's actually true, and Claire being around her proves that it's not true. Claire ignores her and goes deeper into the lab in hopes for a cure. I find it interesting. The fact that she ignores her mother, who you would assume knows more about this virus and her daughter than Claire would know. And spoilers, she ends up successful. Claire ends up successful. She finds a virus, cure. And Sherry is big chilling with everyone in the end. But it's so strange that she doesn't automatically listen to Dr. Birkin, because I feel like her mom/scientist lady would know a lot more about this virus that she created than me, a random person who just walked into town. Claire gives Sherry her brother's jacket, and Sherry explains that she just wanted to be with her parents more but wasn't able to do it. She talks about how she wishes she could have spent more time around Christmas with her family and how she feels very lonely. Her eye, which is where the infection is, grows worse, and she becomes unable to talk through the pain. Claire gets Sherry to the lab and eventually sets her down to explore the lab for a cure. Leon wakes up and goes through the sewers. The deeper he gets, the more fucked up it gets. There's creatures that can completely submerge themselves in waist-deep water, and at the same time they can come up to reach to about 9 feet high, and Leon discovers the best way to kill these things is through fire. And he gets a flamethrower. Not thrower. And it makes sense that he finds a flamethrower because, it's Resident Evil. And fire's a great way to kill things, so luckily, They're in sewer water. How are they getting burnt to death when they're in sewer water? They can just go under the water. I guess humans are flammable. He avoids all the scary things like zombies, those guys, William Birkin, and makes his way to Ada. Ada tells him to leave, as she realizes that he's a good person and doesn't want him wrapped up in everything, and she doesn't want to betray him. But he feels like he owes her because she saved his life multiple times. She explains that she needs to go to the Nest, which is the name for the lab beneath them. They're still in the sewers, whereas Claire is not. In the lab, Leon finds footage of armed individuals raiding the lab. In the footage, it's clear that Dr. Birkin's husband, the other Dr. Birkin, doesn't want to give up his life's work, and they shoot him to death, despite being ordered to bring him in alive. Hindsight really is cool. We know he's not dead. How? Well, that's a great question. So it turns out that he was able to inject himself with a virus after getting shot, and he has this cool little, checkmate, losers kind of a thing he does while he's injecting himself with it. I don't know what version of the virus he injected himself with, because there's so many different kinds from what it looks like. There's the ones that turn you into these meat monsters. There's the ones that turn you into just a single eye getting all messed up. There's the zombie virus, and now there's giant arm virus, which could be the same virus that turns you into the meat monsters, but it could also be the same virus that makes Mr. X Thanos. Leon collects the virus, and Claire collects the antigens for Sherry, and the building goes into lockdown due to unauthorized removal of the virus. Leon has to fight William Birkin one final time, because he gets thrown in with Dr. Birkin pressing a button, making them both go down, and Leon's like, "What are you doing?" And she's just like, "He needs to die." Also, it's not the final time, I lied to you. William Birkin has completely transformed. He has a second head popping out, and he's pure muscle. He's no longer recognizable as William. And Dr. Birkin tells him what truly happened. Ada isn't FBI, but a mercenary. She's going to sell the G-Virus to the highest bidder, and Leon doesn't believe Dr. Birkin. Leon is left to wonder who to believe. Personally, I trust Ada. I mean, she kissed Leon. She can't be lying, right? Right? Leon confronts Ada, and Ada pulls a gun on Leon. They both have guns aimed at each other. It's very dramatic. And Leon throws the virus off the giant tunnel thing. The giant, You know? Editing Psy, help me out here. The building is collapsing while this is all happening, and eventually the bridges start to break. Ada is thrown off the side, and Leon catches her.
Ada, I won't let you go.
But Leon, you have to let me go. Leon, let me go, please. And Leon does let her go. But this is when we're assuming Miss Spy Lady is dead. Miss Spy Lady? The one who has the cool rewiring tool? You're telling me she doesn't have a grappling hook? She has a grappling hook, okay? I don't believe anything else. She has a grappling hook. There's no way she didn't save herself. Leon escapes, and on his way out of the lab, Thanos appears. Thanos got out of the police station. He got out, and he starts coming over, and the man is obviously model walking, as he does, strutting his stuff towards Leon and chases him down. And they end up on a platform that goes further and deeper into the lab. There's a deeper into the lab. It goes like at least 100 feet deeper. And just as Leon thinks he's going to die, someone grabs a grenade launcher and slides it down. And all we hear as we see her shoulder, assuming she's a she, assuming pronouns here, my bad, but assuming, she says, "We'll call it even," and disappears. Now, if that's not Ada, I'll be damned. Sorry, I just read my notes, and it says, quotes, "As we view her shoulder, I know that gorgeous shoulder from anywhere." End quotes. Leon finds a train moving and jumps onto it as fast as he can. And as he goes down, he goes to the front of the train cart and sees Claire there. They hear a giant thunk onto the back of the train, and Claire and Leon go together to go check on it. And when they do, it's William Birkin as a wall of meat. And William Birkin is attacking Claire, and Claire is fighting him off, and they just give up. They stop trying to fight him, and they just break the train cart off, so that cart is now stuck in the lab. It's going to be destroyed. It's fine. It's no longer their problem. They're just going to go on their new train piece and just keep going, and they're going to get out of the lab and to live happily ever after, out of Raccoon City, leaving the remains of it behind. It's fine. It's fine, right? There's not a Residence of Evil that'll have more chaotic things going on. There's not going to be any evil residents in a village. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Right? Oh boy, that was a fun story that I had no issues trying to explain. What were my key takeaways? Resident Evil is a really fun game, and there's a reason that the series has stayed popular for so long. Even outside of the franchise, you can see how much influence Resident Evil has on other games. So many survival horror games borrow ideas from it, and whether it's from resource management, puzzle solving, exploration, or even the way enemies are designed, the formula works, and it always feels rewarding when you finally make progress after surviving with barely any ammo or healing items left. I need glasses. Resident Evil 2 also feels like a labor of love. You can tell the developers put a ridiculous amount of effort into every part of the game. The architecture of the police station is one of the best examples. Even though it's not a realistic police station, it is a realistic use of our tax money into the overfunding of police, and it has so much personality that it becomes memorable. Every hallway, office, and hidden passage has its own atmosphere. The lighting, furniture, statues, and decorations all help make the building feel unique instead of just another generic location. The character models and enemy designs are also incredibly detailed. The zombies don't all look the same, and the damage system makes every encounter look different depending on where you shoot them. You can blow off limbs, leave visible wounds, or completely destroy a zombie's head if you use enough firepower. Small details like that make every fight feel more believably satisfying. The environments are just as detailed too. You can find little notes, broken furniture, bloodstains, abandoned equipment, and all kinds of environmental storytelling that makes it feel like the apocalypse is really actively happening. One thing I really like that I don't see people talk about enough is the camera work. This game has a lot of camera movements that feel like they're straight from a video game, and I don't really know how to explain it any other way than that. But there's these quick, jagged, sometimes smooth movements that introduce new areas, almost like you're looking at a carefully staged photograph, and then the camera moves. The camera glides through the scenery in a way that it feels slightly artificial. I need to stress that this isn't a bad thing. If anything, this makes this feel more like a game rather than it's trying to imitate a movie or something. Some people want every modern game to feel cinematic, but personally, I want to be able to be taken out of the watching a movie feeling. I want to remember that I'm playing a game. The story is interesting too, because it constantly gives you new questions. At first, you're just trying to survive the zombie outbreak, but then you're wondering what Umbrella actually did, why there are mutated monsters everywhere, and why there's suddenly a giant man chasing you. Thanos is one of the coolest parts of the game, because he isn't just another boss you fight once. He follows you around the police station, forcing you to rethink your routes and making areas that felt safe originally feel dangerous. Every time you hear his footsteps getting louder and louder, it creates tension without needing a jump scare. It also makes me wonder why Thanos doesn't constantly shout "stars" like Nemesis does in Resident Evil 3, or why he doesn't specifically go for the members of Stars, like Thanos, Tentacle Thanos does. Sorry, I also call Nemesis Tentacle Thanos. Anyway, they have completely different personalities and roles. Nemesis feels more aggressive and relentless, while Thanos is a quieter and somehow even scarier version of that. Because he barely reacts to anything, he just keeps walking towards you no matter what you do. That difference makes both games feel unique, even though they're part of the same series, based in the same town, same time, even located at the same places. Another reason I really enjoy Resident Evil 2 is because it leans more towards the action than pure horror. It's definitely tense at times, but never terrifying like Resident Evil 7 can be. Instead, it balances a low amount of horror with exploration, puzzles, and combat. You spend just as much time deciding whether or not to use a key or which hallway to explore as you do fighting monsters. That mix keeps the gameplay interesting because it isn't relying on one thing the entire time. One of my favorite things about the Resident Evil franchise as a whole is how the genre changes depending on who you're playing as. Ethan Winters' games focus much more on horror, making you feel isolated and vulnerable before slowly giving you more ways to fight back. Leon's games, on the other hand, feel more action-oriented while still keeping enough horror to create suspense. Characters like Chris Redfield usually push even further into the action, while someone like Jill Valentine sits somewhere in the middle. It keeps every game feeling fresh because you're not getting the exact same experience every time. I think that's one of the biggest strengths of the series. The developers aren't afraid to experiment with different styles while keeping the same core identity. Whether you're solving puzzles, fighting giant monsters, running from Mr. X, I guess, if you want to call him that, or simply exploring another creepy hallway, it still feels like Resident Evil. Every game has its own personality while sharing the same foundation. I wanted to ask other people for more opinions on the game so I could get a better idea of outside perspectives rather than just my own, and so I asked my boyfriend, and he said, Leon Kennedy Big Boobs Mud. Overall, Resident Evil 2 is one of those games that show why the franchise has remained so successful. It has memorable locations, detailed environments, satisfying gameplay, interesting characters, and a story that keeps you curious from the beginning to end. The developers clearly cared about every little detail, and it shows throughout the entire experience. Even years after it's released, it's still easy to recommend because it does so many things well. It understands exactly what kind of game it wants to be, and instead of trying to copy every modern trend, it focuses on perfecting its own style. And that's a big reason why Resident Evil 2 continues to be one of the best games, if not the best game. Oop, my camera shook, in the entire series.
Wow! That was a great video. Will Cyril and friends return soon? Maybe.